Disney fairy tales that were originally really messed up. In the original Snow White, she was not a princess, but just a young woman who was forced to work as a maid by her stepmother, the evil queen. But this is where it gets really messed up. After the prince had fallen in love with Snow White and they got married, the evil queen, being jealous of Snow White, abducts her, cooks and eats Snow White's lungs, liver, and heart. The prince finds out about it and orders the evil queen to be put in iron shoes and danced to death. In the original Sleeping Beauty, the king finds Sleeping Beauty passed out and is not able to wake her up at all. So Buddy decides to take full advantage of her, repeatedly gets her pregnant. She gives birth while she's still asleep. Then when Sleeping Beauty finally wakes up and finds out that she has given birth while she was asleep, she doesn't question it whatsoever, just goes along with it. When the king's wife finds out about it, she tries to cook their children and feed them to them as a punishment. The king eventually throws his wife into a fire, and him and Sleeping Beauty live happily ever after. Disney fairy tales that were originally messed up, Part 2. In the original story, Cinderella's stepsisters actually cut off their own heels in order to fit into the glass slipper. The prince eventually discovers the deception, and then he has the sisters' eyes pecked out by doves. In Beauty and the Beast, the original story, the Beast is a hideous monster who imprisons Belle in a castle, but then Belle develops Stockholm Syndrome and falls in love with the Beast. Eventually, he's transformed back into a handsome prince. However, in the original story, Beast would basically beat Belle because he was angry he was a beast. This one's really messed up. In Little Red Riding Hood, the wolf does not swallow Grandma whole. He actually rips her to shreds. Then he disguises himself as Grandma with the bits that are remaining. The wolf tries to get Little Red to eat the flesh of her dead grandma by disguising it as regular meat. And he tries to get her to drink her blood by disguising it as wine. Then he makes Red strip down and get into bed with him, despite the fact that she's a child. Then he viciously devours her.